over to the Caesar. Each king at that time was called a Kaiser. In Gemara language, called Kaiser. Yeah, what was it called in Gemara language? Caesar. Nisim. Caesar in Gemara language.
Caesar and Kaiser.
Kaiser. Okay, good. I got that right. Well, so besides his wisdom, Rabbi Yeshua bar Hanania was often the object of making fun of by those who didn't know him. He was hunchbacked. He was crippled. But even for those who were disgusted by his appearance, once he began to speak, they were amazed. So sometimes somebody can look really disgusting, really gross. Sometimes a person's could even, sometimes even saying something, and even though you don't even mean it. So, but words mean a lot. The Roman Caesar had a beautiful young daughter who was very conceited, meaning she was very spoiled. She always wanted more because, of course, she was got whatever she wanted. So that is the exact reason why she was spoiled. Also, she used to abuse her servants and was very accustomed to treating important guests through her father's palace in the same manner. Anyway, one day she entered the hall where her father's and some people, Chashuva people, and Rabbi Yeshua were debating. She watched in amazement at the honor accorded to Rabbi Yeshua. Arrogantly, she called out,
"Such glorious wisdom in such a disgusting vessel!"
Rabbi Yeshua, who was not surprised by her words, answered in a joking manner, "Tell me, please, in what kind of a container does your father keep his wine? Not in earthenware kalim? Not in earthenware vessels?" The Caesar's daughter was undoubtedly beautiful, but she wasn't very bright. She didn't understand what Rabbi Yeshua was hinting and answered,
"What else should be the wine kept in?"
"Well," Rabbi Yeshua said, "everyone keeps their wine in a clay. So, if you are so important, shouldn't your wine be kept in a nice gold, silver keli? In a nice vessel?" Rabbi Yeshua was certain the foolish girl would understand he was joking, but the girl, in all her chutzpahs, assumed she understood the rabbi's point and decided to do the thing. She convinced the father that the wine shouldn't be kept in ordinary vessels, and against his better judgment, he ordered the servants to transfer the wine to gold and silver urns. Well, at first no one noticed a change in the wine, but after a while, the wine spoiled. The servants who were in charge of the wine approached the Caesar.
"Our master, all the wine became vinegar. The whole time that it was stored in clay, there was never such a problem."
Now Caesar was very annoyed, very angry that his good wine was ruined. But he was more upset about the fact that he listened to his daughter. He called her and asked where she got this idea.
"Huh?" she answered. "Rabbi Yeshua, you won't think he's so smart. He said we shouldn't store the wine in such simple containers."
The Caesar contemplated. Didn't the wise Rabbi Yeshua know what would happen to wine in such containers? Maybe he was trying to hurt the king? But didn't he know he'd be punished? The Caesar called Rabbi Yeshua and said, "Why did you advise my daughter to put the wine in the gold silver vessels?" "Just as he spoke to me, I spoke to her," Rabbi Yeshua said. "She told me it was a pity that such nice kalim, such beautiful keli, was in such an ugly vessel. I answered her that good wine, even that belonging to the king, is kept in a simple vessel. How was I to know that she wouldn't understand the simple meaning of my words?" The Caesar understood that he had been foolish to listen to his daughter, but he didn't want to admit that his daughter had been wrong. He thought then said, "Surely there are wise people who are also attractive." Rabbi Yeshua answered, "If they weren't attractive, they would be even wiser. They would use all their energy and time for study and increasing their wisdom. Some who are attractive become conceited with their beauty. They could become arrogant with their beauty, and they never become wise." The Caesar wasn't dumb. He understood what Rabbi Yeshua was saying about his daughter. He decided it was better not to discuss the matter anymore, and he told Rabbi Yeshua goodbye. And that's the end of Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania. Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania, as I said, he was a big Talmid Chacham. I believe living in the time of Rabbi Gamliel. and also Rabbi Eliezer ben Harkinas. Anyways, not further ado, a story about Rabbi Eliezer ben Harkinas. Not far from Yerushalayim, there lived a very, very, very rich man. One of the richest people of his time by the name of Harkinas. Now, this person, Harkinas, he had a huge field, and he had a whole bunch of kids. And one of them was called Eliezer. Eliezer was not thought to be a scholar. You know, he wasn't able to understand things. He was brought up to the land, as were his brothers. He spent most of his time farming, being a shepherd, and doing similar farm jobs. But Eliezer was very depressed, very sad. He felt he wanted to go to Yerushalayim, where the great Torah academies, where the great Torah schools were, and scholars were to be found. He often thought to himself about Hashem and his wisdom and managing the world. He used to walk about in deep thought, as if in a dream. So, Kindlech, a dream, if you are dreaming about something and you really want it to happen, you, Kindlech, can make it happen. You can go on your dream, and it's never too late, as I'm going to say over here, that Rabbi Eliezer ben Harkinas, even Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Akiva started at the age of 40, I believe. He started learning at the age of 40. So, Kindlech, even if you feel that you failed tests, even if you feel that you are a failure in life, but you're not. Hashem does not think so, and you shouldn't think so as well. You should think of yourself as a bright kid, and try as hard as you can, and one day you'll see you're going to succeed, because Hashem helps those who try. Anyways, back to my story with Eliezer and Harkinos. He was walking around in deep thought as in a dream, and his father and brother considered him to be a lazy, good-for-nothing. They therefore took a dislike. They didn't like him and gave him the hardest jobs, which is very mean. And imagine your brothers giving you a job that's almost impossible. Let's say lifting up a garbage can, and let's say you're 5 years old, and you're lifting up a whole garbage bag. You know, 5-year-old would be able to do that? I don't think so, but this is what happened to Rabbi Eliezer ben Harkinas. The brothers once went to the valley to plow, where the earth was soft, while sending Eliezer to a hill to plow, where the ground was very hard and stony. And Kindlech, when we plow on a mountain, it's not the best place to plow. Hardly anything can be plowed there because it's the stones, the rocks, so many stuff in that ground. And there's a lot of stuff that you can't necessarily plow with all that stones and rocks. It's very hard. Eliezer tried his best. And he plowed smoothly, but the animals fell on a stone, fell and broke his foot. Well, Eliezer decided to take advantage of the situation, and once and for all, he left his home and go to study Torah. The brothers discovered that Eliezer disappeared. They ran quickly and told their father, "Father! Daddy! Appa! Eliezer ran away! He's not here! He disappeared!" Harkinas was very scared. "What do you mean he disappeared? What do you mean by that?" "He's not in the field," the kid said. "What do you mean he's not in the field? Of course he's in the field! Where else should he be? Hey, he has to be in the field! I'm telling you." And one of the brothers somehow said, "Daddy, I heard that, he was planning to run away. He's planning to go to Yerushalayim." "What?" Harkinas said. "He's planning to go to Yerushalayim? I'm not going to own anything, Tim. He doesn't own anything." And Harkinas said this out of anger. He was so angry, he said out loud, "I don't care. I don't own him." And fine. Oh well. Eliezer finally arrived in Yerushalayim, and went to the great yeshiva of Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai saw before him a young man over 20 years old, thin and pale, and a desire, such a big desire to learn with a cheshek, with a bren. Such a big desire. He soon noticed that Eliezer was a very talented person, and he accepted him into yeshiva. Eliezer started learning with his whole heart and neshama. Each day saw him rising higher and higher. He suffered from hunger. He ate sometimes pebbles. Now, Kinderlach, eating pebbles does not make you unhungry, but it does make your body, complain. But Eliezer ben Harkanos, Rabbi Eliezer ben Harkanos, just continued on. Just continued. Didn't tell anybody. Nothing. He didn't tell anybody about he's hungry. He didn't complain that he's hungry. He just studied Torah. He just learned Torah. He didn't tell anybody he was thirsty. Whatever he found, he was happy with. One morning, Harkanos arrived in Yerushalayim. Oh well. He came to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai's yeshiva, and he wished to obtain the great rabbi's consent to his plan not to give Eliezer part of his inheritance. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai discovered that his student Eliezer was Harkanos' son. He did not tell Harkanos anything, but just invited all the great scholars and prominent people of Yerushalayim. Harkanos was among them to come into the Beit HaMedrash. When all the people were assembled, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said,
I now call upon my esteemed Talmud, Rabbi Eliezer.
And
Rabbi Eliezer, please come up and say a Dvar Torah.
And of course, Rabbi Eliezer came, and it was a very good speech, very good Dvar Torah. Everyone was so amazed. And the sparks of fire seemed to shoot forth from Rabbi Eliezer's mouth. Harkanos was more astonished than anyone else. He didn't know whether he was dreaming or if it was really his own son. Kinderlach, he didn't even know that it's his son. He thought, oh wow, it's such a nice Talmud. Who's Rabbi Eliezer? He didn't know at first that's Rabbi Eliezer, that's his son. He thought Rabbi Eliezer is, just Rabbi Eliezer, a big Talmud Chacham. But he found out afterwards. That this was his son. He went over to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. I feel so bad, Rabbi. I came to Yerushalayim with the intention of making my son Eliezer not have anything, not have nothing of my portion, nothing of my richness. But now I decided I'm giving him everything, including the portions his brother were to receive. Eliezer absolutely refused to take anything more than what was his. Now, and Rabbi Eliezer became very famous later on in life. He was called the Nasi. The Nasi, well, he wasn't the Nasi, but he became very famous. The Nasi of Shimon ben Gamliel took him as a son-in-law. Now, the funny thing is, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel's daughter's name was Ima Shalom, a mother of peace. This is what I read in a sefer, and I believe that this is the daughter of Rav Shimon ben Gamliel the Nasi in that generation. When Yerushalayim was attacked before the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, and Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai managed to leave the city in a strange manner, pretending to be dead. Rabbi Eliezer was one of the disciples who carried the coffin. So, Kinderlach, now you know one of the people who was carrying Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai out of the city to meet this Roman general, Titus. To meet him was Rabbi Eliezer ben Harkanos. So now you know when somebody asks you who was one of the people who carried the Aron where Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was laying to go out of the city, you're going to be able to answer him, Rabbi Eliezer ben Harkanos. Rabbi Eliezer ben Harkanos had a lot of memory. He had very good memory. He didn't forget a single word that he learned. So, Kindle, imagine that. Wow. Not forgetting a word you learned. But that's because he tried. Had he not tried, he wouldn't even be able to learn. But he tried. He tried very hard. And look where he got. He got to know the Torah. And he had such a great memory after that because he tried so hard. And Hashem made him have a siyata d'shmaya that he's able to continue learning. And